Good afternoon, guys. Today, part 6 is kind of heavy, but I think that a lot of you will resonate with it and know exactly what I'm talking about, especially if you have dealt with chronic illness. Part 6 is healing from illness versus healing from being disbelieved. So let's dive right in. Illness asks a great deal of the body. It asks for endurance, for adaptation, for patience, for learning how to live inside uncertainty. It can bring pain, exhaustion, limitations, grief, fear, and loss. Healing from illness, when it is possible, often involves medical care, time, support, treatment, rest, and learning how to respond to what the body is carrying. But there is another kind of healing that many people with chronic illness, trauma, or complex health conditions know intimately. It is the healing that becomes necessary when a person is not only sick, but repeatedly disbelieved while sick. These are not the same kind of wound. One is the wound of illness itself. The other is the wound created when suffering is questioned, minimized, dismissed, explained away, or treated as though it should not be happening in the first place. The body may be fighting one battle. The nervous system may be fighting another. Illness can create fear because the body feels unpredictable. But being disbelieved adds something completely different. It adds isolation. It adds shame. It adds self-doubt. It adds the exhausting task of trying to prove what should never have required proof in the first place. When a person is chronically ill, they are often already carrying more than others can see. Appointments, symptoms, medication changes, financial strain, physical limitations, uncertainty about the future, grief over what has been lost, the work of adapting to a body that no longer behaves the way it once did. To carry all of that is heavy enough. To carry it while also being questioned by the people around you is heavier still. Because disbelief changes the environment in which illness is lived. Now the person is not only managing symptoms, they are managing reactions. Trying to decide what to say, what not to say, how much to explain, or whether it is worth bringing something up. Wondering whether they will be met with compassion, impatience, skepticism, or silence. And over time, that changes people. Not because they are dramatic, and not because they want attention, but because the nervous system learns from repeated experiences. It learns who is safe. It learns who minimizes. It learns where honesty is likely to be met with comfort and where it is likely to be met with correction. And eventually, many people stop reaching. Not because they no longer need support, but because the effort of asking for it begins to feel more painful than carrying the burden alone. This is one of the hidden injuries of being disbelieved. It does not only hurt in the moment, it can alter trust. It can alter openness. It can alter the willingness to seek help at all. Healing from illness often focuses on the body, symptoms, treatments, function, pain, fatigue, lab work, imaging, mobility, stability. All of that matters. But healing from being disbelieved requires something else. It requires rebuilding trust where trust has been damaged. It requires untangling shame from symptoms. It requires learning that another person's discomfort with our reality does not make that reality less true. It requires grieving the people, places, and systems that did not respond with care when care was needed most. And sometimes it requires learning how to tell the truth again after spending a long time being talked over, doubted, or dismissed. That kind of healing can be slow. Not because the person is unwilling, but because disbelief is relational. It does not stay neatly contained to one moment. It can settle into the nervous system, into the way a person explains themselves, into the way they ask for help, into the way they brace before speaking, into the way they begin apologizing for needs that never should have required apology. This is why it is possible for symptoms to improve and for a person to still feel deeply unwell in other ways. The body may be recovering while trust is still fractured. The illness may be more stable while the nervous system is still waiting to be questioned. The treatment plan may be moving forward while the heart is still carrying the memory of what it felt like to be left alone inside something frightening. Healing is not always one process. Sometimes it is many processes happening side by side. The healing of the body, the healing of trust, the healing of dignity, the healing of voice, the healing of the part of a person that learned to stay quiet because speaking had become too costly. And that is why being believed matters. Not because it erases illnesses, not because it solves every problem, but because it changes the burden a person has to carry while they are already trying to survive. Some wounds come from the illness itself. Others come from what happened around the illness. Both deserve to be named. Both deserve compassion. And both deserve room to heal. Remember the human. What we cannot see is often carrying the greatest weight. And I pray that any of you who hear this, share it with someone you know who is going through it, or take it to heart if you are going through it. You are not alone. This is just a nurse writing from a patient's chair. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you again tomorrow.